Hi, hello everyone. Hi, I'm Nikki Thomas, Career Success Coach for those of you that have not been on one of these lives before. I hope you're all well. So today I wanted to talk about effectively the response of I can't afford to have my dream job. I have heard it quite a lot actually over the last few weeks. And before that, people used to always say it. And I know that I deep down believed it for a very, very long time as well. And this is the thing, is that a lot of people have started talking to me about how their lives have started to change quite dramatically. I think we're all noticing, aren't we, like how much our lives are changing, and how much we used to rely on a certain income, or we relied on certain things that were happening in our lives that, you know, overnight have completely disappeared. So the three things I wanted to talk about is about what I can't afford actually means. Also wants to talk to you all about how you really feel about work, and then how to love your work again. These are really important points, especially at a time now when a lot of us are on furlough, or we've lost our jobs, or you know it's thrown up a lot of weird feeling, hasn't it? Like, I mean, feel free to let me know in the comments how you guys are finding it. But I find that, you know, when a lot of our natural routine has been disrupted, we try to adapt to it as best as we can. But actually, in that time, we start freaking out, and we start to realise that what originally meant so much to us maybe doesn't mean as much to us as it used to anymore. So one of the things is the term I can't afford. And don't get me wrong, I know that we are all in very, very different money situations right now. But one of the things is that, and I've learned this as well, is where I used to always chase money. So that was always the reason for me to pick any other job would be a pay increase. I left jobs because I wasn't being paid enough. And I actually went through a stage in my life where I switched what I loved doing and what I really enjoyed. I kind of put it on the back burner because I really, really wanted to chase and earn a lot more. And I wanted to earn what my friends were earning, and I wanted to be in that same bracket. And I just remember just, you know, being sort of pushing myself forward to earn more money, and I was really money driven. But in doing so, I always ended up spending it all, because I ended up hanging around with the sort of people that would quite happily spend a load of money in the evening. And so I ended up falling into that cycle where I had a high income, but I also had a huge outgo as well. And it just, I ended up falling into that horrible money cycle. So when people used to say to me about, you know, oh, but have you thought about doing this, or starting your business and starting, you know, career coaching? I was like, oh, well, I can, but I'll have to work alongside, because I can't have a month where I don't earn money. And I ended up on the money train because that's what I was used to. And a lot of people feel the same way. I speak to a lot of people, and one of the biggest things is that I will say to them, okay, are you wedded to the money? And a lot of people get quite annoyed with me by asking that question, but I'm asking you now, are you wedded to the money? Is that the reason why you do your job? Because there's nothing wrong with that. There is nothing wrong with chasing money. The only real time that it's not right is if you're chasing money at the detriment of your passion. So you need to ask yourself, what is it that you really want to do? And I know, because this is what the subject of this conversation is about, is that you'll throw your hands up and say, but I can't afford to do what I really love, because I need to keep a house over our, you know, a roof over our heads. I'm used to a certain quality of life. You know, I need that money to survive. And absolutely, you know, you do you. And that's not, whatever you want to do, you've just got to believe in it, and you've got to be true to yourself with it. I'm not saying that, you know, earning and chasing a job just for the money it's not a bad thing, as long as you are comfortable with that being your main purpose and your main passion. That's not a bad thing at all. But for people that are living outside of their passion, then that's what I'm talking to you now. When you turn around and you say, but I can't afford to have my dream job, you're then saying that, oh, I can't leave the job that I'm in for the sake of what I love. And that's when it starts muddying the waters slightly, because when you start saying, I can't afford it, you're pretty much, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're saying that to yourself, and then automatically you are going into your work in a negative mindset, saying, well, I can't have the job that I want because, or the job that I love because I'm doing this for the money instead. So it's all a mindset shift, and it's all about changing that up in your life and thinking differently. Start asking yourself, how do you really feel about work? How do you feel in yourself when you go into work every day? If you know the real reason why you're going into work every day, if you are believing in that purpose and it means something to you, then that's fine. That should be what's propelling you forward and moving you forward. But if you're not happy and you genuinely are going in and you're finding it a hardship, then you need to ask yourself the reason why. And there can be a whole multitude of reasons, and we are going through the middle of a pandemic here, like a huge COVID crisis. So there are going to be many reasons why you are not 100% happy. And when I say going into work, you're effectively just logging on if you're lucky enough to be able to work from home. But you need to remind yourself what your purpose are. There are people in the NHS where they are going in, and I know all the arguments about the PPE and things, and they're still going in, and they've been told that if they don't have the appropriate equipment that they should actually hang back. And they said it's against what we've ever been taught or what we know. And the reason why is because they have purpose in what they're doing. Their purpose is to save lives. And so they are stuck in a mental dilemma every single day between, because they would put their lives in front of millions of strangers. And that's why they're heroes, okay? So you've got to ask yourself, on the grand scheme of things, what is it that you are waking up every single day and the reason why you're going in to do the job that you do? Because once you've got a good grasp of that, that is going to be what's propelling you forward. That is what you've got to use to keep yourself motivated and keep yourself moving. If it is just to keep a roof over your head right now while you're treading water, then do it. Awesome. That be your purpose and that be the thing that's pushing you forward. But if it is something else, and if something else is lighting you up, that you really, really want to do, now is actually the right time to do that too. Mainly for your mental health than for any other reason. For me, I worked in corporate and I owned a coaching business alongside. The only reason why I was able to do it and I could sit at my dining table until late in every evening was because I loved what I did. I really, really loved it. And if you feel that way about something a business that you want to grow, then using the term I can't afford, or if you want to change industries and it's going to be a bit of a pay cut, using the term I can't afford, it's not good enough. There has to be a real reason for it. You can set up your own business now. You do not need a huge income in order to do something like that. There are millions and millions of business mentors out there that can help you, and coaches, and people to show you the way. There's loads of online free resources that can help you as well. But there are also, if you wanted to change industry, now is the time to do a little bit of research into that and see how that's coping during COVID-19. Is it something that you would be interested in doing when you move out of lockdown, is what I mean. I guess the next thing that I was going to say was, you've said about how you feel about work. You've had to think about how you feel. Let me know in the comments below, how do you feel about your current working situation? And we can talk about it bit by bit, each one to their own, because everybody feels differently about their situation. I could give you some examples here, but really you need to tell me, how are you feeling about your current work situation, and we can do, I'm very happy to respond that way. But also, whatever your current work situation is right now, and a lot of us are in it for the money because we need to keep us going, do not use that as something that's holding you back from what you really want to do. Because even though we're going through this right now, and we're basically just living each day as it comes, what we need to look at is how we can get the techniques to get us through those moments, but also we need to start really, really thinking about what it is that is what we want as our ultimate goal. You don't want to be looking back at your life in 30 years and go, well, you know what, I really wish I'd gone for what I really love to do. And I'm not saying that you have to only do what you love. I'm saying that you need to find a career that you enjoy. Some really easy ways of being able to do that is, especially now, is speak to your boss. I know a lot of people are on furlough at the moment. I know a lot of people are losing their jobs, but also when we come out of lockdown, that will actually be kind of a big hit then for a lot of people. So maybe now is start looking at what kind of other jobs are available in your company. And should it get to a point where a role is redundant, you could turn around and say, actually, I have been thinking about moving into this area. Now is the time to start looking at your CV, start sorting it out. What have you got to lose is basically what I have to say here, is that when you say I can't afford, think about your own money story here. I know that I always need I always need money coming in, because for me, I'm very, very risk averse. I need that security, and that's who I am as a person. That's not a bad thing. And as I say, everything that I say here, none of it's bad. But what I'm saying is that that's how I am, and so a salary life for me it's taken me a long, long time to learn not to be like that. So you've got to ask yourself, are you willing to be able to live a month without a salary? If not, then that way you need to start looking into new ways of pulling money in. If you've lost your job, or even if you're on furlough, you can actually go on, you can still work for companies like Sainsbury's or Tesco or any supermarket. So there's also stuff like that you can also do just to tide you over, but also some time to really think about, what you want to do going forward. Because this could be an amazing opportunity for you to, whatever's been holding you back and you've been saying, I can't afford to jump into my dream career, this could be the time that you make that jump. But the only way that you can do that is by really thinking about how you feel about your career right now. And do not think, I'm so lucky to have this job, this is all I can get, because people are still hiring. What you actually need to think about is not that side of it, but what can I give to the world? What would really be the job that I'd really love to do right now? And then start doing little steps. As I say, be careful as you do it, but sort of look at what other jobs are available in your business and sort of in your company, and sort of see if you could do the jump there. Start honing your CV. This is the perfect time to also start speaking to some recruiters. I'm not saying that you need to jump from one job into another, but now would be a perfect time to speak to some recruiters about possible jobs or moving industries. So that's always a great way of doing it as well. I've written a few things over here, which is the reason why I keep looking over. But there's quite a few bits that I wrote out just to sort of say, also I know that a lot of people started saving quite a lot of money recently, just because there isn't as much what are we spending our money on at the moment? And you realise how much you spend on, say, going out and non-essentials. Those sort of things, start putting aside an emergency fund for anything that may happen after furlough time and we come out of lockdown. But also start putting money aside and start thinking about, if you're worrying about moving from one industry to another, start putting money aside right then and there and sort of see if you can live on a lower salary. One of the biggest things people have started saying to me, and I know that I felt this myself, is that I really did not need to eat out as much as I did before. And I think a lot of people are starting to see the simpler things in life, actually, where, we can make food by staying in, and we can actually sort of conserve more of our money than spend it on luxuries that maybe we just don't need. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's a trade-off. Maybe we spend less on going out, and maybe we sort of start moving into jobs that we really want to do, even if they're less income. But basically, the saying of I can't afford to move careers, you're pretty much just locking yourself in. There is no real. I'd be very, very interested. Please feel free to tell me otherwise. But I'd be very, very interested in how you actually feel about it on a serious note. And would you now, given the situation of lockdown, would you now be more open to pursuing a career that you really love? Because let's face it, if anything, this has definitely shown us that life is too short. So I'd say that now, if more than any other time, is probably the right time to start looking at what you really want for your career. I hope that's helped anyway. Really short live, but just to sort of give you something to think about. Know that a saying of, I can't afford it is usually a lot to do with fear, and a lot to do with you're locked into your current situation and not looking and don't want to change it up. And this could actually be the perfect time to make a change. So I'm Nikki Thomas, and I'll speak to you all soon. Take care. See ya.